This mouse struck me as quite strange looking when I first took it out of the box, but it's actually pretty awesome, so feel free to stick around for the full review and more information about Asus's ROG Spatha mouse. It's a wired and wireless gaming mouse, and it has a pretty awesome feature set. Check out TechteamGB.co.uk for more awesome news, reviews and other stuff, including more information on this product and many more. Stick around for this awesome video. So as I said, this is the ROG Spatha. It's got quite an interesting box. Obviously it's wired or wireless. Inside the box you will get obviously the mouse and the sort of warranty info and manual, as well as a carrying case for all of the accessories. It doesn't look like you can fit the mouse in the carrying case, which is funny, but anyway, you'll get in the box the wireless charger, which can stand up or sit down, 2 case badges, 2 different Omron switches, which are really awesome, and 2 USB cables of different lengths. That's because you can plug the mouse in directly or plug the base in. Now this mouse sits on the base via magnets. It sits really well. It's actually pretty strong, which I was somewhat surprised about, and charges via these 2 contacts, and as I said, can be laid down if you so prefer, although I do believe they prefer you to put it on the base. On the left hand side of the mouse you've got an arrangement of 6 buttons I'll talk about later, as well as a sort of textured area on the front, or at least frontwards you have the USB port, as well as 2 shoulder buttons to the left, and left and right click and center click. You also have plenty of space for your ring and pinky fingers, which is actually really awesome and makes the mouse pretty comfortable. Now you can open this mouse up. They actually include a Torx tool to do this, and that's really awesome. And when you do pull the 4 screws out and sort of pull the top cover off, you find the replaceable Omron mouse switches, which is really awesome. You'll also find the 3.3 volt LiPo battery, which looks like it's similar to the sort of one you'd find in an RC aircraft, which means it might be easy enough to replace, although obviously not as easy as something like a AA battery. Now, the ability to change these switches is absolutely fantastic, and I really like this. The one thing I don't necessarily like though is the buttons on the side. The build quality in these doesn't feel all that great. If you push them too hard, you can move the entire assembly around. If you move your thumb in the wrong way, especially if you're trying to lurch to push one of the buttons, it feels like they're going to snap off. As you can see, they lift up quite far, and you can also push them past the actuation point as if you've kind of broken them into the side of the mouse, so that is something to bear in mind. Now the actual comfort on this mouse is really awesome, especially because of the space for your sort of extra fingers, and in terms of lighting, it's actually pretty awesome. Now as usual, lighting for me isn't a huge topic, as it's often something that's hidden under your hand, but I'm really impressed with this, and the lights look really awesome overall. In terms of the software, I was pleasantly surprised with the ROG Armory software, making it really easy to change all the different settings, including stuff like sensitivity as well as the different macros, and while there are some things that I would like to see improved eventually, they're nothing game changing. They really are just kind of nitpicky type things of especially in recording macros, but other than that, the lighting was great, the ability to set macros and change them was really nice, and overall, as I said, I'm pretty impressed. Even with the actual mouse itself, the overall feel of the mouse in the hand is pretty fantastic. So this mouse is actually a lot more my style than pretty much anything else I've checked out on the channel, considering that I use a Logitech G700S on a near daily basis. A daily basis. Now this is actually a really nice mouse, and I'm really impressed with it overall. First of all, build quality is fantastic, except for these buttons on the left hand side. If these were a bit better, I felt a bit more sturdy and I guess connected a bit better, because if you push them too hard, it feels like you can move the entire button arrangement around. If you lift your thumb up in the wrong way, you may accidentally tear one of the buttons off, and overall they feel a little bit mushy as well. So if those were improved, I would be happy to give this a top tier award and say it was one of the best mice I've ever used. Otherwise, this is still really pretty fantastic, and don't let that dishearten you, because this is really cool. First of all, the ability to take this apart, and especially to switch out the left and right click switches for different Omron switches, is fantastic. It's awesome. I love to see this, and I really hope that this feature turns up in more mice, because this is absolutely fantastic. The battery life seems pretty good, and while I couldn't say exact figures because I was using it and charging it and using it and charging it, it does seem to last me perfectly fine, and I don't have to really worry about charging it. The fact that you can use it in a wired mode is fantastic, and the fact that the charger is pretty easy to use with the magnetic sort of base is really cool, and it looks pretty awesome. The RGB lights, as I've expressed in many other reviews, aren't really something I kind of harper for, because it's a mouse, it can be under my hand most of the time. But if you are looking at it, especially through these side buttons here, it looks really awesome. And overall, the feel in the hand feels pretty great, especially the sort of extra fingers that you don't really use stuff for. They've really thought about those of where you can rest those, and it's very comfortable to use on a longer term basis. And also, one of my favorite things about this is the 2 buttons to the left hand side of the left click. That's my favorite placement for easy to access buttons, and I'm overall really impressed. There was also no acceleration that I noticed, and in terms of DPI settings, I'm really happy with it. Also, in terms of the software, that was pretty good. They seem to be rolling out regular updates, which is awesome. And yeah, that's really my only main sort of concern, is just the buttons on the left hand side. As I said, if those were a bit better, I'd be a lot happier to give this sort of full marks and everything. In terms of value for money, I'm going to go for a 5 because it's still an absolutely fantastic mouse. The fact that you can take it apart and switch out the switches means that it's going to last you absolutely ages, and it looks like it's pretty simple to swap out the battery as well, and it looks like one of the sort of standard batteries that you might find in an RC aircraft or something, a small 3.7 volt lithium ion one, so that's really cool. Overall, in terms of performance, I'm going to go for 5. Functionality, 4, just because of these buttons on the side. Style, I'm going to have to go for a 5 because, well, it's kind of, it was definitely interesting, especially when I first opened the box and went, huh, that looks weird. I'm growing to like it, and it's overall a really cool looking thing. And TechteamGB score, even though these buttons aren't perfect, I'm still going to have to go for a 5 and give it the Gold Award. It really is fantastic, and as I said, if it had these buttons were a little bit better built, I'd be happy to give this a top tier award, but until then, or you know, a Spatha 2 comes out, it will stick with Gold for now. So I guess that's kind of it. If you've got any questions, feel free to leave that in the comments down below, and I'll try and get back to you as soon as I can. If you have any questions about the mouse, as I said, feel free to leave those there. And on that, don't forget to check out some of our other videos. We have so many. I think there's certainly over 500 public videos, so feel free to check those out. Yeah, just before you go, by the way, if you're planning on buying anything from this, or you know, some of the weird herbal tea that I see coming up, or anything else on Amazon, please do use my affiliate link. I'm not asking you to, you know, pay me any money. It's not, you know, it's completely free. All you have to do is click the link before you purchase something, and it will help me out, and it legitimately helps me keep this this all running. So if you could do that, that would be really, really awesome. Other than that, feel free to subscribe, as that's another awesome free thing you can do. Yeah, we'll see you on the next video.